What's up guys, Bua Davis here. From today I decided to make new series about 2D platformer shooter game. Since 2D platformers are very popular, especially among beginners, I want to show you how you can do them from the scratch to the finish. We will discuss player movement, jumping, shooting mechanics, scoring system, animations, and a lot more. So not to miss any new videos of this series, please like this one and subscribe to my channel. And even if you are a beginner, you can still follow along because I will make it beginner friendly. And now let's get started. And first video will be about player movement. And for that, we obviously need some character. And I downloaded this pack of Hero Guy, and I will leave a link to it in the description down below so you can use it as well. But if you have any other asset in mind, any other character, you can use that as well. Okay, when we download this Hero Guy, it has different folders as you see, but we need this mode gun folder, and we will be selecting this idle folder. We are not doing animation part in this video, but let's select the first sprite from this idle pack and let's drag it into our scene. And as you see, our guy is pretty big right now, so let's make it smaller. And what we can do, we can select this first sprite and we can go in the inspector, and here you see this pixels per unit, which is set to be 100 right now, but we can make it bigger and it will make our character smaller. For example, if we say here 256 and hit apply, as you see, our character got smaller. And let's see in the game view how it looks like. I think it's quite fair size for our platformer game. If we don't like, we can always change it in later stages. All right, we have this guy, and let's make for our character some ground to walk on. And for ground, for now, we will be using 2D objects and square, I think. So you go in the hierarchies empty space, right click, and you will see these 2D objects, sprites, and square. And let's rename it to be ground for now. We can also go in the inspector and change color to some dark green. And let's drag our ground here. We can also scale it to on the x-axis to be, for example, 20. Yeah, or little bit bigger. We can also select this rect tool right here and make our ground bigger. Doesn't really matter. Okay, this is our ground, but if we hit play right now, nothing will happen because our player doesn't even have any kind of physics components. So he will be just stuck in the air, chilling there where it is right now. And to fix that and to go further, we should add few things to our player and then to our ground itself. And I don't know why it's taking so long. All right, we are all, and as you see, nothing really happening. Our character is stuck in the air. So let's select our player, and in the inspector you will see this add component button. We can click on this add component and we can add a few things here. Okay, we are ready. As you see, it has different components to choose from. We need physics 2D elements, and here we should find rigid body 2D. Here it is, rigid body 2D. Let's select it, and as you see, it adds some gravity, mass, and some physics elements for our character. But it also needs collider to interact with the ground, because if we hit play, I will show you right now. Let's hit play. Our player will just fall through the ground, and we don't need it. We want him to stay on the ground, obviously. So it means that we need some kind of colliders, and colliders are just tools which is helping us to interact with different game objects. And we can select this player and once again add component and physics 2D. Let's add box collider 2D. I think this is colliders are these green outlines, as you see. And we also need collider for this ground, otherwise nothing will work. So let's select our ground, add component, and we can also type here in this search box, box collider 2D, obviously, and now we have box collider to both of those objects, to our ground and to our player. And if we hit play right now, you will see that we are able to stand on the ground. All right, this is first step. We are doing fine, but next step will be to make our player to move horizontally, obviously. And for that, we need to make C# script. And if you don't know how you can do it, you just go in the assets folder, empty space, right click, create C# script. And I personally named it player, and you can name it player as well. And just make sure to drag this script into our player game object and drop it here. And if we select our player right now and scroll down, you will see that our player script attached to our character, which is fine. And let's double click the script to open in Visual Studio, and let's start working on it. First thing that we need is to get reference for our rigid body, which is our physics components, in order to use it. And there is two ways how we can do it. And I will first show you very easy way, and then I will show you some better way how you can and how you should do it. We can say here public rigid body 2D, and let's name it RB. If we save the script, so to save your script, you just need to click on the Control S or Command S if you are on Mac. And if we go back in Unity, let our script compile a little bit. And if we select our player right now and scroll down, you see this player has the slot of rigid body RB, and we can simply drag this rigid body into that slot. And now we are able to use this rigid body, which will be RB. But making rigid body public is not the best way how we can do it. So instead, we will make it private. And private means that if we save the script right now, we won't see this rigid body slot right here. That's all it does. So we need some other methods how we can attach our rigid body to RB. And we should go in the start and say that RB equals, we can use get component method. We can say get component that we want is rigid body 2D, parentheses, semicolon, and that's it. Now we are able to use rigid body, which is RB. And now in the update, we will make our logic, but first let's go back in editor. If we select this edit project settings, you see this input manager, which has different axes. If we scroll down, it has some different buttons and different axes. If we select, for example, this horizontal axis, which this one we need, it has already attached some buttons, as you see, left, right, A and D. So it means that if we connect this horizontal axis into our script, it will automatically work when we click on the left and right or A and D. So only thing that is left is to get information about input manager and about horizontal axis into our script. And it's very easy. Well, first let's create few more variables. We also will need some move speed. So we can say public float move speed. And let's make it, I don't know, 5, for example, for now. And let's make one float. And let's call it direction. This will be to save information about our input. And then we go in the update and we can say that direction will be equal. We can get information about input like this: input.getAxis, and in parentheses and quotation marks, we can say horizontal. Just make sure to type horizontal correctly, otherwise it won't work. So right now, information about our horizontal axis is stored in this float, which is direction. So we can say here rb.velocity, which is our speed, is equal new vector 2. New vector 2 means that we are giving it new direction, and it takes two values, x and y. For the horizontal movement, what we need to do, let's select our player, and that's the movement that we want, obviously horizontal movement. And when we move horizontally, as you see, our x-axis, x position is changed. It means that we should change x position and leave y as it is right now, because this y is for jumping and we don't need for this video just yet. So when we touch A or D or left and right, we want to change this x position of the player. And as I mentioned, this new vector 2 takes two values, x and y. So we should change x, and we can say that move speed, to have some kind of speed, times our direction, which has information about our horizontal axis. I hope it makes sense. For the y, we will keep y unchanged. You can do it by saying rb.velocity.y. That's all. That's exactly what we want. We can save this script, so Control S and Command S. If you're on Mac, let our script compile, and let's go back in Unity and see if everything is working. Let's press play and see. Okay, this is our player, and when I'm touching this A or D or left or right key, our player is moving. As you see, he is not rotating just yet, but don't worry, we will fix that in the later stages when we make animation for it. But for now, he is moving. We can also make move speed bigger, for example 10, and it will move faster. And we will deal all these numbers in the later when we test our mechanics. But for now, movement is done. And for the next episode, we will make our player jumping correctly. And I hope this video was informative for you. If you like this series, please like this one, subscribe to my channel, and ring the notification bell not to miss any new upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. Bye bye.